Hi, everybody. This is the PressPlay Lifestyle Inspired Podcast. It's a podcast that does interviews with inspirational people, as well as provides custom content and monologues on topics to help listeners like you find the resources, tools, and support that they need to be their best inspired self. And today we are so lucky to have a colleague and becoming friend of mine, Shakina Cooley, who I met, I think it's actually been a few years now, online. And she has this wonderfully inspirational story of kind of turning some lemons into lemonade. And so I was really excited when you said you'd be willing to come on the podcast. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm
Of
glad to
course.
be here.
Yay. So I remember, so when we first started talking, you had started a blog, and the blog, and I
Yeah.
believe the reason for it was something that had happened pretty significant in your family, and you were trying to sort of process through that. Would you mind kind of sharing with us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Yeah. I started a blog called She Says Blog. And basically I started it to kind of tell my story about, going through divorce and how I overcame it. And basically battling like depression, anxiety, all those things while going through my divorce, because I actually left while I was pregnant with my second child. So it was probably the hardest time in my life. And I just felt, if I had gone through it and was able to come out strong on the other side, that somebody else might be going through it and need some inspiration to know that it's okay. It's not the end.
Yeah. I think what I was touched by most, or what I remember most, because your family are amazingly supportive for you, even
Yeah.
online. Like they're the outpouring of love is pretty amazing. And I think your father's like, isn't he like, he's a very spiritual person,
My
I
dad,
think,
yes.
your dad. And so
Yeah.
I remember one of the things that drew me to some of your stories were, it's not like it's always divorce is always difficult, but you really struggle a lot with the faith component. Like you get married in your faith, and that's sort of how things
Right.
go. Is that kind of true, or with
Oh,
the
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I definitely, of course, didn't get married thinking that I would get divorced. And that was part of my struggle, was once I got married and finally deciding that I was going to leave, I wasn't really sure how my community, like how other Christians would really view me. And then I knew that people who didn't actually know my backstory would see me here with 2 children and just automatically assume, so it was a lot that I kind of had to process and go through. And yeah, just kind of seeing where I am now, I'm really proud. And I just really wanted to inspire other women, because I just want y'all to know you're not alone going through tough situations like that. It was a lot.
I can imagine. I thought I saw recently, and I follow you because
Mhm.
you're like a little bit of a ray of sunshine that just randomly pops up in my day sometimes. And
Oh,
oh, good. I'm glad. That's good. I'm glad you like that. But you had
yeah.
actually started doing, like, I thought your blog was pretty fantastic, and it was a really great way to sort of show that processing out loud. But
Hmm.
then you said, didn't you start doing? You've done some events now, like some
I have.
hugely impactful events. Could you share like
Yes.
anything about that?
The first event that I actually did after starting my blog was I do an annual brunch. It's a no love lost brunch, and basically what I do is, we have brunch, so we have a little appetizers and things there, and then I have a speaker to come in and kind of share her backstory to where she is now. And the whole thing started for the same reason. I just wanted to reach women who are recently divorced or separated, and kind of looking for an outlet, looking for a support community, just a network of other women who are going through or have gone through the same thing, and just be able to help one another, show love to one another, and help one another to get started again, like learning where to go from here.
Yeah. So how did that go? So did you feel like it was a good turnout, or women came out of that feeling a certain kind of way? What's
Oh
your
yeah.
thought on that?
Yeah, I had a lot of women who were actually asking me to do more things throughout the year because I only do the brunch once. And hold on one second, I'm so sorry.
No worries. So on the Press Play Lifestyle Podcast, one of the interesting things is, these are real people, real women, real situations. And Shakina has little folks at home that are
Yes.
adding some extra fun to the audio of the podcast. So, but I just appreciate that you're so real and through all this stuff, right? You're doing these events. You're
Oh
no
yeah.
longer with your husband. You're keeping
No.
up a blog at some points. You're still
Mhm.
involved in your faith community, and you have two little guys at home. I mean, how
Oh
are you
yeah.
juggling all of that stuff going
um,
on?
and I just started coaching. So,
Oh,
um,
good. So tell us about that. So coaching, what and how and who?
well, I actually just partnered with a woman whose name is Anika Wilson, and I will be doing a divorce support group online with her. And then I've also decided to turn my group that I started on Facebook. It's called In the Aftermath, or in the AM. And so now that's actually going to be a part of my coaching community to help women I really wanted to turn into just like a one-stop shop, basically, where women who are recently divorced or separated can get homeowner classes, they can get counseling, they can get help with building credit, all those types of things. So that's what In the
Wow,
Aftermath
that's
is.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really I've been very blessed to have a community of ladies like yourself around me,
Mhm.
and I actually met with Anika I want to say a week or two ago too, and what
Oh,
she's
really?
doing for women, yeah, same
Yeah.
circles, yeah. She's just a wonderfully impactful woman with so much energy and does a lot of work, I believe, when we talk with veterans or the spouses of
Mhm.
veterans,
Yeah.
who unfortunately also overlaps into your area where there's,
Yes.
some divorced veteran spouses. So it makes
Right.
sense that you would be offering that. That's exciting. So are you going to do a launch or something that's like, hey, I'm out here, or what's your plan?
Yeah. We're actually working on that type of thing now. She's getting some graphics together for us to advertise, and I'm actually going to do my first support group November 27th. So I am excited about that. Guess I have to let you know how that goes.
We
Um,
will.
but I'm super excited. Once we get everything together, then we'll be making our grand announcement to everyone.
That's wonderful. So with all that you have going on, and with like the
Mhm.
boys and now all these businesses that have kind of sprouted up, um, like what keeps you motivated to keep like pouring so much of this love and energy into other women when like it's not like all of this stuff went away for you. You still
No.
have all this stuff going on. So how do you find the energy to just like keep putting love out to the other community of women that are sort of, you know, a couple steps before you in the process trying to figure it out?
Basically just remembering that that was me. Sometimes I actually, like the post I did today, I don't know if you saw it.
Not yet.
Sometimes, yeah, I did a post today. I was listening to a radio show actually this morning, and they were discussing a lady situation who wants to give breast augmentation, and her husband says no, but she says she wants to do it for her self-esteem. And someone called in and they were like, well, her husband's supposed to help her build her self-esteem. He's the one that's supposed to do that for her. And I just kind of was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, no, it's called self-esteem. Like, that's for you to do. And so hearing stuff like that sometimes, or even sometimes reading posts of other women, I kind of just feel like it keeps me going. because I'm like, they need this. I needed
Yeah.
it when I was at that point, and I see other women need it too. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I know, so I'm Christian faith as well, and I know that
Mm-hmm.
there's, as ladies there's a woman that my daughter goes to school with, her son, and goes to school with her son, and she's going through a divorce, and we go to a Catholic school, and I
Mm-hmm.
just thought it's just the judgment that she felt is just so strong, and before the
Yeah.
divorce, like her church community it was her community, like she and her husband and the kids and the school, and it was about like it was part of the whole unit. And then when they
Right.
split, which it doesn't, I'm not going to go into the reasons, but it was just
Mm-hmm.
it seemed to be automatically assumed that like she had done something, or she didn't
Yeah.
do something, or she
Yeah.
was a certain type of person because of the situation. And I guess for me, it sort of broke my heart, because I thought, shouldn't we, like, regardless of the faith, legitimately,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of which faith you are, if people in your community are hurting, like, it's like, let's look for a way to help them not hurt versus automatically like putting judgment out there. So
Right.
and whenever I see that, I always think of you, because again, with your dad,
Yes.
like your family has like been like wonderfully interesting, and I see your dad being supportive on your posts, and your sister is also very,
Oh
very
yeah. Yeah.
inspirational. And I think, thank goodness there's ladies like you out there, because there's ladies like my sister, my
Mm-hmm.
daughter's family, and she really just felt like there wasn't anybody that either even understood, and then also kind of being like a pariah in her own community. So it's
Yeah.
losing your family, your husband, your home, and your job, and then also trying to find a new faith community must just be
Hard.
a bit
Difficult.
a
Like
bit
just.
much, a bit much
Yes.
to handle, right? Uh,
Right.
so in your
Mm-hmm.
support groups that you're beginning, or that you're establishing with the other organization, um, is your support group faith-based, or is it more just around
No.
your larger topic? Okay, that's good,
Yeah.
right? So everybody needs love, right?
Exactly. That's the reason
Uh,
why I didn't want to do it that way.
yeah, good. That's lovely. So I'm just really, really thankful that you took the time out of your busy day with your boys and all the other stuff you have going on, that you took the time to meet us. If you could give
Mm-hmm.
a woman who was considering divorce any advice, like you don't even know her situation, all you know is that she thinks that that's an option that she needs to consider. Do you have any like tips, or just kind of high level advice on how to navigate that huge decision in their life?
Well, I would say first and foremost, if you are thinking about divorce, just know that if you feel it's the best thing for you, that is the number one thing that matters. Because I know, I actually know some women personally who decided to stay in a marriage that wasn't good. It was basically toxic. Toxic for them. They stayed because they had children, because of jobs and money and all these things. And it's not worth it. You only have one life, and you got to make sure that you're living it for the best of you. And what's best for you is ultimately going to be best for your family, your children, everything else.
Yeah, so there's life after divorce, right?
There is life after divorce.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So will you be willing to share with the audience, and after we post the podcast, we would love some resources. So if you have a link to your support groups when they're ready, or if there's anything else that you can like to share, we would love to let our readers know how they can find someone like yourself
Oh,
who's
yeah.
walked that road, and is still showing up with a smile on her face the days that she can.
Every day.
Yeah, yeah. So we would really love to do that if you'd be willing to share with us.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Great. Do you have any other parting words that you'd like to give to ladies or about your programs or anything in general?
Just fall in love with you first. That's pretty much all I can say. Everything else will fall into place once you fall in love with you first.
Oh, that's great advice. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and I look forward to the next big adventure you have so we can bring you back on and talk more about it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.